Hello, I'm Debbie from Tarot 21. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a really short video. It's going to be a whiz through on the Suit of Swords. And the Suit of Swords are made up of, they're part of the Minor Arcana, which makes up, that consists of 56 cards. So the Suit of Swords is the 10 cards numbered 8 through to 10, plus 4 Royal Court cards. We have a Page, a Knight, a King and a Queen. So let's have a quick look through this Suit of Swords. And I have to be honest, the Suit of Swords are not the most popular cards in the tarot. And that's probably because when we look at the cards, they're pretty depressing, really. And they show the destructive side of the swords, the pain that they can cause, and that's usually inflicted in anger. But it's good to remember that the swords can also symbolize cutting through illusions and complicated problems too. If you think about a knife as a small sword, for example, it can be wielded in anger and cause immense pain. But in the hands of a skilled surgeon, it can actually save a life. So there's always two sides to the sword. They're double-edged, literally. I think it was, I believe it was King Arthur's sword that had inscribed on one side, pick me up, and inscribed on the other side, it said, put me down. And swords are always trying to balance things. They're trying to balance their intellect with their desire for power. Now, swords are masculine and they're associated with the element of air. And when we think about air, we have everything from that wonderful warm summer's breeze. And I can imagine that right now as I'm sitting here recording this on a freezing cold winter's day. But we have everything from that lovely, soft, warm, gentle breeze of a summer's day to the other extreme when we have a wild tornado that literally can pick up and spit out everything in its path and be really destructive. And just like air is constantly moving, so too are our thoughts. Our thoughts never stay still. We're designed to be thinking machines, and so we usually always have something on our minds. For anyone who is listening to this and who meditates, you'll understand how it's not always easy to quieten the thinking mind. We use our minds to rationalize things, to analyze things, to understand our life, our purpose, and just to figure out what's going on around us. Now, swords are great communicators. They love a good chat and they're really curious about everyone. But because of that curiosity and that good chat that they like, they can also be a bit on the gossipy side too. Now, if we have a lot of swords that turn up in our tarot reading, we know that we're looking for answers to mental challenges, to conflicts, to intellectual arguments, and we're doing our best to understand what decisions need to be made. You know, swords may seem to have a lot of negative or strong, forceful messages in the cards. But remember, they can also be a warning just to stop. Stop and think before you act. Now, the personality traits of the swords are that they are talkative, sociable, they love a party, they love people, they're very curious, but at the same time, they can come across as a bit cold from time to time. You know, they're maybe a bit unsentimental, if you like. They're intellectual and they are always seeking answers to life's questions. Now, the swords love to read and they enjoy a good discussion, a good debate. They don't like to lose a good debate, but they do love to have a good debate. They're always trying to make sense of the world around them rationally. On the negative side, they can be a bit aloof. They can be sarcastic. They can be very blunt with their words, very sharp-tongued even. They are also able to be very discerning and able to freeze people out emotionally. Their heads definitely rule their hearts. And it's possible that they can also, because they're always in their mind, they're going from one idea to another, they can end up taking on too many projects in at any one time, and that can result with their minds and their thoughts being very scattered and all over the place, and so they end up not completing anything. And of all the suits in the tarot, these are likely to be the most aggressive. So how do the swords get on with the other suits? Well, swords, they get on absolutely fine because they're curious, they're sociable, they enjoy a good chat. Swords and pentacles, that doesn't work too much because swords are jumping from one idea to another, to another, to another. Pentacles, they like to be focused, totally zoned in on one thing at a time. Let's do this, let's do it properly, and let's just do it once, even if that is going to take a very long time, which drive the swords insane. Now, swords and wands, they're great together because swords have got all these ideas and wands have got all the energy and the enthusiasm to bring those ideas into fruition and into reality. Swords and cups, they don't get on too well. Swords, as I say, love a good chat, very curious about people. Cups prefer the quieter side of life. So they just complete opposites. They don't get on too well. Some other tips about the swords, as I said, they represent the masculine side. It's about rational thought, communication, power, ambition, leadership. They're associated with the astrological signs of Aquarius, Libra and Gemini, and Libra signals the start of autumn, so the suit of swords are associated with the season of autumn. And from a timing perspective, they're really quite fast and can represent time passing in weeks. So some questions to ask swords are, what new problem is on your mind? What do you need to analyse? What do you need to think through? Are you being just and fair right now? And what decisions do you need to make? What decisions do you need to face? So that is a whistle-stop tour through the suit of swords. I hope it has given you a feel for this, for the swords in general. But always remember that swords represent trying to understand life by using the mind. And they love to talk, so they make great communicators, much more in their heads than their heart, always constantly asking questions. They were the little kids that would always ask, why, over and over again. Now, when interpreting the cards, any cards, remember the meaning will depend on several things. It will depend on the question that's being asked. It will be dependent on the position of the card in the spread. It's also relevant whether the card is upright or reversed. But more importantly, what's your intuition telling you? What do you see in the cards? Always, always trust your intuition. Well, that's it for today's video. I do hope you have enjoyed it. Remember that I personally do not believe that the tarot is predictive. It cannot tell your fortune. But I do believe it can reveal details of your life's journey so far, and it can also set out the possible opportunities and challenges that may lie ahead. But it's up to you to decide what to do. It's your decisions, it's your choices that create your future. Thank you so much for watching this and listening. Until next time, stay safe and be happy.